Okay, so let's talk about some of the basic commands that what we have covered yesterday. So can you help me recall what are the commands? Okay, so first of all, what we did was we used a program called putty, and in other words, this is also called a dummy terminal. Okay, this is called a dummy terminal. The reason for that is because it does not have any power to process any information. It basically is dummy because you are using it to send the commands, and the commands are processed on the server side. That's why it is also referred as dummy terminal. Now, someone once has asked me, putty like terminals. Do you always have to use the putty? Well, it depends. Putty is a free. The reason this is probably one of the reasons it has it is used more than often, and pretty much it is very secure. So companies like to use this. But there are a few others. One of the other one that I use is called X Shell. There is another one, MOBA Xterm. Okay, so if you start browsing for these, and then if you just want to test this out, you can do that. And then there is another one which is called Secure CRT. And then there are a bunch of other ones. So if you just Google search for putty-like terminals, and then you will see like at least 5, 10, 20 different ones, and then you can start using them. But these are probably the some of the most famous one, and one of the most famous, I would say, is the MOBA Xterm. I personally like to use Excel. There are companies who like to, instead of going with putty, they want extra security. So some companies, they like to go with the secure CRT ones. Okay, so if you want to do some Google search, you can do that.
Is there a difference?
No, it's all terminal, but they have different ways of formatting it, different colors. There are different options. Sorry?
The commands are same.
Command? No, remember, this is just the terminal, right? This is just the terminal. What that means is this is just a program that will accept your commands.
Right.
So they are all dummy terminals. It's just
okay.
how they look. So some of them may have different backgrounds, some of them they have some different ways of formatting things and things like those. We also saw that how you save a session, the configuration, I should say, save configuration. So for example, if you don't want to type all the details again, we saved a server called Florida server yesterday in your settings. We also saw how to change the color, how to change background and foreground. We also saw how to change font size. The other one that I'm going to quickly show you now is how you reset or how you restart a session. For example, I have the putty session here. I'm just going to double click on it. And then let's say I type some user and then some password. Now obviously the password is not going to be visible. You press the enter and it's not going to allow you to log in. It's going to keep asking you for 3 or 4 times and then it will basically time out. So here, so at this time, if you look at the heading, it says the terminal is inactive. If you look at here, it says terminal is inactive. So at this time, you have 2 options. One, you close this terminal by clicking on the X button there, and or the other option is you basically go look into the menu. So on the top side, top bar, you right click on it and you just say restart session. So instead of opening one, you basically are going to say restart a new session. And then this will give you that. Now let's say if you want to have another duplicate session. So for example, I'm going to have this M47 or M48 and ABC 1, 2, 3. I'm logged in. I want to have a duplicate session. So obviously I can go back to the putty session and open one, or you right click and then you just say duplicate. So how is it going to duplicate? It will open up exactly a similar window. So with the same background, with the same foreground, and exactly the same size as well. Okay? Oh, this is the wrong. So if I know that I have made a mistake, I'm just going to hit this few times until I get this, and I'll simply say restart the session. And this time I'm going to give the right username. I'm logged in. Control L to clear this. So how many sessions that you can have? Can you have more than one putty session? Yes, you can have 5, 10 different putty sessions open at the same time. They all can be active at the same time as well. So here are some of the things. Let me see from here. Can you also change any settings? So you already know how to change the settings. If you want to copy everything into your clipboard, so whatever you have typed, right? Whatever you have typed. If you want to get this copied, you copy all to clipboard, you open up your notepad, and you right click and you paste. Everything is all copied. So every day, let's say before you log out, you want to save your session, you want to go back and review. You can obviously right click on it, copy to clipboard, paste that in a notepad, or email that to yourself.
Can you return this?
So I'm going to right click here and I say copy all to clipboard. Do you see that? So what it is doing is everything that it sees in this particular window, it is basically copying everything to the memory. So once I do this, then I'm going to open up my notepad and I will paste it. So now I have everything in a notepad. Or you can simply open up your email that to yourself. So change the subject to V2 Sunday class notes, and then you email to yourself, and then you have all the history of your chats or history of your comments. Are we okay so far? Now, one of the thing is, how do you exit out? You just type in exit and you hit enter. Or you can also use Control plus D together to exit out. Okay. So here, what I'm going to do now is I will just use the Control D to exit out. So one session is gone now. So I have this session. Now this session, I'm going to, let's say, type something. And if I use a single quotation without any other single quotation, it won't give me the prompt back. And I know somebody has sent me a message yesterday because they were stuck, because they have something like this, and the students, what they were doing was they were simply closing because they don't know how to get the dollar prompt back, right? So, and this is a very common problem in Unix. If you open something, if you put this forward, the single quotation, it is expecting to have another single quotation. If you put one double quotation, it is expecting to have the double quotation to close what you are asking. Now, if you hit enter, you will not get the prompt back.
So that's mean we are inside loop.
You are in a loop that is waiting to end, but you are not ending it. So in that case, what you need to do is you will say, okay, you know what? I think I am stuck somewhere. I want to exit out of whatever it is executing. So you use Control plus C. Control plus C to stop current execution. So whatever it is executing, you want to stop that. Control D, both of these is to exit. So if I use Control C now, Control C, you get the prompt back. So you have the dollar prompt back. Okay. Now let's say I'm going to give you another shortcut, Control L here, and you type something here, right? And then you realize that I want to remove everything from my cursor till the end. Then you can press Control plus U, right? So basically you are saying undo from cursor, undo, or you can say remove left from cursor. Okay. Control U. So if you use the Control U, everything from the left of the cursor will be removed. So let's say you have something in here and your cursor is right here, right? Now, if I use the control, then everything from the cursor to the left will be removed. So let's try this. Control U, and then everything from the cursor will be removed. Okay? Now going back to let's just review of what we have covered yesterday. So these are some of the quick notes that I wanted to give you. So again, now going back to the commands, who can help me on whatever the commands that we have used yesterday?
MKDIR.
Okay, so mkdir is make directory.
CD.
Now tell me something about the make directory. Can I say make directory requires one argument, one or more arguments, right? So for example, can I say mkdir dir A, or I can say mkdir dir A and then dir B, right? What else? What else can you say? Present working directory. We want to verify what is my present working directory. You type this, present working directory. Now by default, what is your present working directory when you log in? Okay, so first directory is user's home. Now user's home is represented by tilde, right? What else?
LS.
Okay, ls is to list. What else?
CD.
cd is to change directory. Change directory, and then here I can say cd dot dot, or I can say cd to home to directory A, right? Or I can say change directory to home, or I can also say change directory to the root. This is the top level of directory. If you want to go to the topmost directory, then you will just type in cd /. Okay?
That's delete everything.
Sorry?
And after that, we can delete everything.
You cannot. The good thing about the Unix is it will only give you access to your home. Right? So if you go home, if you go here and then you try removing everything.
I log out from my home?
No, you are just, so this is what your home is, right? So from root, you have the home directory, and then here, let's say if Tom is logged in, this is the home. So anything below Tom's directory, he is the owner. Anything above, you try going in there, it will say, hey, you know what? Yeah, maybe you can see how many homes are there. You are driving around in the same neighborhood. You can see all the homes, but you have access to only your home, not someone else's home. So if you try going in John's home, it will show you the finger saying, no, you cannot do that, right? So here you cannot go in here. So let's say you bumped up your directories 2 more times. So from your home, you say, go 2 directories up. It will go up here, but if you say, I want to create a file, touch.a.txt, it will not allow you to do that. So let me just give you a quick demo. If I go up to the root directory and see if I can. So if I go here and cd to /, so my present working directory, if you look at here, I'm on the root now. If you look here, I am at the root, right? My present working directory is actually the root now. So now at this time, what I will do now is I will say, my present working directory is this, touch a.txt, and it gives you the immediate result saying that you cannot do anything because you are not in your home, you are on someone else's property. So you cannot do this. Okay. So the permission is denied there now. Okay. What else now?
CP.
Sorry?
Clear.
CP. So clear is one of the command. Clear or control plus L. So here in your shortcut list, you can say control plus L is clear screen. And host name is 1. Okay. RM is to remove the file. So this is to remove file, not the directories. RMDIR is to remove the directory. Remove directory which is empty. If you want to remove a directory which is non-empty, then you use RM minus recursively. So remove with the following options, recursively and forcefully, and let's say directory A, and then that will remove it. Now, every time you are creating a file, if you want to remove everything from your home, so here RM minus RF, home, and then everything that ends with the /. Now, I have seen some of the posts yesterday where the users were complaining about getting the bash prompt, right? Instead of getting the really good your username and server prompt, they are getting the bash prompt. The reason for that was they said this. If you do this, it will remove a bunch of other things also, not just the directories, but this will remove the files as well. So to remove the directories only, you will type in rf minus rf, everything that ends with the /. That means all the directories that ends with the /. So this is basically remove files and directories. And this is remove directories only and not files. So whoever is getting the bash prompt error because they have deleted one of the configuration file which is hidden, what they have done was they used this instead of this. That's why you are getting the bash error. So don't do this. If you have to clean up your home, do this. Because remember, every time you create a directory, so if you say mkdir my directory, for example, you created this directory. In reality, so if you say ls, it is actually showing you my directory is created. But in reality, a directory is created with my dir /. So it is showing you this, but in reality, the full name of the directory is this. Basically, what it is showing you is a directory is created with the options of having more subdirectories in it. That's what the / here means. What are the other commands? cp command, right? So here you have cp. cp command will take one or more arguments. The final one is always going to be the destination. So here I have source 1, source 2, source 3, source 4. They all are going to the directory. So if you just have the minimum of, you need to have the minimum of 2, source 1 and then destination. mv is another command that will require one source or more source, but the destination is only one. So mv source 1 and then destination. Okay, what else?
Cal main.
Okay, calendar is one of the command, cal, and then man, if you want to check the manual of it.
Who?
Who is one command, w is another command, who am I
Thinky.
is another command, thinky is another command, right? It is also giving you all the users info. Users info. Right. The other command that I also have is history. History, by default, it will keep up to 1,000 commands in your history. And then after 1001, it goes back and delete the number 1 command. 1002, it will delete the second command, and so on. fc-l will give you the last 15 lines, last 15 commands from history. Anything else? ifconfig. So now you have ifconfig. This will give you the IP address. Okay. Date is the command that will give you the current date, current timestamp. Okay. All good? What are the other commands that we talked about?
Touch command.
Sorry? Touch. Touch is touch. You can have a.txt, one or more commands in here. c.txt. Anything else? Tree is another command, right? Very important, especially for the beginners. So tree is one command. Some of the examples are tree from, if you just hit enter, that means you are showing, you're asking it to give from the current present working directory. You can also type tree dot. Dot is also, they both means from the present working directory. So show me the tree from the present working directory. Then you can also say tree tilde from the home. You can also say tree from root, from the topmost directory. You can also give it full path. So show me the tree from my user. I have a directory called A, inside directory B, inside directory C. So it will start showing you the tree from that directory only. So you have multiple options. So if you just type in tree, hit enter, it is going to show you from wherever you are. Tree dot also means from wherever you are. Tree home means tilde means from your home. Tree / is from the topmost directory. You cannot do anything more above that. And then tree from a fully qualified path. If you are giving a path like this is called fully qualified path, FQP. Okay, please update your notes. We will resume in about 5 minutes.
I want to know what this. Because I type tree and I type enter.
Yeah, so to stop the current execution, what can you do?
Controls.
Control C, right? So if it is going, you don't want to wait, you want to stop. So Control C.
What this exactly?
Because I think what you executed was you did this.
No, I type tree.
Yeah, but you were probably in your root location. This is the topmost directory. So now it has thousands and thousands and thousands of the files. So when you say tree, it is going everything from the root and it won't end until it reaches the last file. To stop it, you put the Control C. Okay, any other command that we missed? All right, so I'm going to erase this now. So I'm going to give you, so remember we said we have the topmost directory is root, and then you have another directory which is called home, and then in here you have multiple homes. Every user has their own home in here. Now let's say the user A, I have user A, and then I have user B and user C. Now, in order, and then user A has a file called a.txt, user B has a file called b.txt, and user C has a file called c.txt. They all have the files, right? Now, do you think user A has the complete ownership, which is read, write, execute, and if he wants no permission, then he can also give no permission. So can I say the user, whoever is the owner, they have the full permission, owner has full permission. Can I say that?
Yes.
Owner has the read permission, owner has the write permission. If the file is a program, owner has the executable permission. And if owner does not want to have any permission, he can change the permission as well. So basically it is saying he can create, the user can create any object, user can delete any object, user can alter any object, user can manipulate any object. Or user, if user wants, he can destroy any object as well. So can I say the same thing for the user B, but the user B will have only the ownership of this one. Can he also destroy anything in here? No, right? Now, if we start looking into this, the structure, how it is something like this. It has USR, a program in here. It has OPT, a program in here, or the directory in here. It also has a directory called var under the root, and it also has a directory called home in here. Under home, all the users' homes are, and then there is another directory here which is called the temp. So this is the temporary area. Now, if you start looking into this as one big giant housing, let's say, what is it called, the gated community. So let's say this is the gated community. So although they can see each other's home, but they don't have the keys to get into each other's home, correct? So let's say if the user C has decided that I want to be able to send this to any of their homes. So I want this to be completely open for anyone. Now there are two options that this user has. One option is basically giving the password to all the users. So user A has the password, so he can get into this home and copy this file or whatever the file that it needs to be done, because now he wants to access. User B does not have the key. So what is the option that he has now?
Temporary copy.
Temporary copy? What do you mean temporary copy?
Copy a
Copy a file somewhere and put it somewhere, right?
Okay.
So usually what happens is, think of the temp as your playground, where everyone has access. So user A can get to the temp, user B can also get to the temp, user C can also get to the temp. They all have access to the temporary location. How do I get to the temporary location? Fairly simple. A user on the dollar prompt, user will say, hey, change my directory to temp. Can you all change your directory to temp? And then type in ls, see how many contents are there. There are many different contents there, right? Okay, so here, what we are saying is, user C wants to copy, or basically whatever the contents that he has. If the user C has put this c.txt, do you think everyone has the access to this file now? Because everyone can get to the temp. Now, if anyone who is moving their contents in here, they should be able to see that as well. So what happens is, in general, not all the times, but 99% of the times, if there is any file sharing that needs to happen, usually the users, what they do is they'll send that to the temporary location. And temporary location, and then they'll say, hey, you know what, I have put the copy there, you go and get that from there. Are we okay so far? So now there is a file there called pga.txt. Do you see that file there when you type in ls in the temporary location?
Yes.
Yes? What I want you to do is, I want you to copy that file into your location. So, for example, to copy, can I say I use cp command? Yes? And then I have a source, and then I have a destination. So for the source, can I put /tmp/pga.txt? Can I do that? Yes? Okay. And then where I'm sending this to? Home. So if I execute this command, and then go back to your home, and then if you type ls, you should be able to see pga.txt there. See if you can copy the pga.txt into your home now. So there is a file that is shareable in the temporary location, which is the playground. Now I have the authority to copy this file into everyone's home. So basically what we are saying is, hey, copy this file called cp into user's home. So cp pga.txt, this is the source and this is the destination. And every user is doing the same thing. So now this user has pga.txt in his home. This user has pga.txt in their homes. And this user has the pga.txt in their home. Do you all see that?
Yeah. Can we get info of this file, who created or who's the owner?
I'm going to show you all that, man. Okay, so cppga.txt or from the temp. So I'm going to go to the cd temp, and if I type ls, it is showing me all of these. And one of the files that I see here is the pga.txt. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say cp from the temp. There is a file called pga.txt. Send that to my home. Now if I go back to my home and if I type ls, I see that the pga.txt is there. Now can you all tell me if you see pga.txt in your home now?
Yes.
Anyone who is still struggling? Okay. What is the problem? All you have to do is run this command. That's it. I'm saying that the pga.txt is in the temporary location. We just verified it. So all you have to do is cp space /tmp/pga.txt. This becomes my source. Okay. So this is what we are picking up. And this is where we are sending. Where are we sending? We are sending to home. Then what I'm doing is I'm changing my location to home location. And then if I just execute ls, I should be able to see pga.txt. Can we try that now?
No, more like C/TMP. I can get that.
I'm just going there. If you don't want to go there, that's fine. This is why I'm giving the full path here, even if you're not there. This is, I said, remember, I said, can you go here? Because this is a playground, yes, you can go there. But can you go to someone else's home? No. If you try to change your directory to user B's home while you are user A, it will not allow you to do that. But all these users can go to the common ground. We call it temp. So usually the temporary is anytime any program requires any temporary space, it goes here because it knows that it has the permission to read, write, anything. All the users do that. So any file sharing or any sharing that you want from the server, you cannot give the key to your home. But if you have to give something, then you will actually take it outside of the home and you say, hey, pick it up from there. That's exactly what you are doing here. They're not giving the keys. Whoever is the owner of the PGA, they don't want to reveal. They say, hey, you cannot come to my home, but what I can do is I can put that into the temporary playground area. You can go there and pick it up. And that's exactly what we did. Are we all okay now? Okay. So now, we know how to create a directory, correct? We know how to remove a directory. We know how to create a file, but we don't know how to read a file. Okay. So we know that I just copied a file called pga.txt, and I have absolutely no clue what this file has. I want to be able to read it. How do I do this? Okay. So to read a file, the command is called cat, C-A-T. So you just give the cat as the command and then one argument, and that argument is which file that you want to read. So cat pga.txt. So let's do that, cat pga.txt. So if I execute this, cat pga.txt, because I know that I have this file in my home, and I can see from here I'm actually in my home, and I also tried ls and it showed me that I have the pga.txt. So now I want to read this file. Sorry? So if I hit enter, it looks like it went so fast, I don't know how many lines are there. It went all the way up to the last line. If I start scrolling, it looks like this is a pretty big file, right? But I don't know how many lines are there altogether if the file starts from somewhere. Okay, it looks like the file started here as soon as I hit the pga.txt, and it went all the way down. All right, so now this raises few questions. Well, how do I pause the read of a file? Because we don't know. This file could have 2,000 pages. This file could have 17 lines. If everything is scrolling up so fast, remember, Unix is reading the files very quick. So I don't know how many lines are there. So maybe I want to start pausing this. So to pause this, what we do is, so we have cat. So I'm going to change my directory. So this is how I started. Okay. So first thing, what I did was, I said change my directory to /tmp, and then you did ls to verify that there is a file called pga.txt. Then what we did was we said cp the file from the temporary location called pga.txt to my user's home. Then we went back to our home. Then we said ls, and then we verified that there is a pga.txt. Now we want to read this file, cat pga.txt. Now one thing I realize is it is happening, it is running so fast, it's very hard for me to read. So I want it to pause. So here what we'll do is we'll say cat pga.txt. Now I'm introducing a new command here. That command is called the pipe. Okay? This is a straight line. It is right above your enter key. So you have to use, I think you have to use the shift and then the pipe. Do you see a sign which is all vertical and I think it has a space in between? Okay? So this sign is called pipe. Now, what does that mean, pipe, in a Unix environment? Basically, what we are saying is we are combining multiple commands, together. Okay. So every time you add pipe in here, basically we are piping multiple commands together. So here there is a command called more. Okay, so here what we'll say is cat pga.txt, and then I put the pipe in here, and I will have the command called more. Now, as soon as you hit more, basically what we are saying is show me page by page. So here, so it will show me as soon as I hit more, it is saying there is more data that is coming after this. So now I'm at the first page. Now if I hit enter, if I hit the enter key, this is going forward line by line. If I want to go page by page, then you want to use the space bar. Page by page. Okay, so now this is what I have. So I'm going to hit enter, and if you can see, then it is moving forward page or line by line. Now if I use the space bar, it is moving page by page. Okay, now I'm going to clear the screen. The next thing that what I want is, I will say, similar to that command, there is another command where you can say cat pga.txt, and we say less. Instead of more, we try less. Let's see what happens here. So we are combining two commands together, right? One is the cat command, the other one is the less command, and that's why we are using the 5. There you go.
Yes.
It is also another way of getting what you are looking for in more in here. There are more to this less command, we will talk about that later. But at this time, less is pretty much doing the same thing what the more is doing. Okay. However, I'm still not satisfied. I see that there are multiple pages in this particular file, but how many lines combined together this file has? So for that, what we can do is, we can see the manual of the command called cat. If I do that, let's see if there is any option that gives me the line number as well. So here I'm going to quit and I will say cat, manual of the command called cat. Now if you start scrolling down, you will see bunch of these. -b is number of non-empty output lines. Non-empty output lines, but I want the empty lines as well. So maybe I want to start scrolling down, enter, and -n. So if what that means is, if I change my command to cat -n pga.txt, and if I hit enter, it is going to go up really fast or go down really fast, but at least it will display me the line number. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to quit out from here, and then we'll say man or cat this, but we are just adding an argument here with an option n, show me the line number. So there are a total of 205 lines. Now, can I use the help of more to pause it with the same command? Yes, cat -n pga.txt, and then type more. So this time it is going to read the file, but the file it is going to read, it is going to display the line number as well. So here I will type in more. So now I'm seeing all the line numbers. So if I hit enter, you can see the line numbers are going one line at a time. Now if I use the space bar, it is moving up page by page. So last line is 25, 39, 51, 71, 83, 95, and so on. If I hit Q, then I'm going to exit out. Very simple, right? Not much complicated. It's a very simple thing. And if you think about something else, hey, I want to read the file, but I want to read only this line, for example. Is there a way I can filter my data? Yes, you can. But I don't know how to do it. Well, I have Google search. Or if you don't have Google search, let's say you're working for a financial industry. You're working for Bank of America. They're not going to open the Google search for you. They may not have the internet working if you're in their office, because they want to keep everything so secure. So in that case, you will use the help of the man command to find out which parameter will allow you to do that. Which option will allow you to do that. Are we okay so far?
This?
Yeah.
No. There should be in this video. That's when this there's a reminder every this reminder a week before when you can talk to people. Would you go? Can you raise your hand? Yeah. Are you from okay? Are you from okay?
Okay, are we clear with this cat command now? All right, so let's take a quick look. Now, let's talk about ls command. Now, ls command is probably the most famous command that you will be using as long as you are working in IT. Okay? It doesn't matter you're managing firewalls, Unix, Linux, PowerShell, anything. ls is probably one of the most used command in here. So in ls, how many different? So if you want to read more about ls command, then you just type in manual of ls. But at the same time, what are some of the most basic flags or options that you can use? Now, the first one is you can use L. Yes, what that means is long list. So I'm going to show you, instead of ls, I will just say ls minus l. ls minus l. If you look into that, it is showing you the long list. Okay. Then it also has ls t, that means with timestamp. Okay. It also has ls minus t. So if you just use minus l and then this is minus t, then minus r in reverse order. So the timestamp in reverse order. Minus h, that means display size in human readable format. Human readable format. Now, what does that mean? If I say a file size is 39473987511327. Does this make any sense to you? Because everything it is showing you in bytes. Versus if it shows you that this is 39 terabyte, for example. Now this is more readable, right? So if you want to convert from bytes into more human readable format, then you want to use the minus h. Okay. So minus h, if the file size is 1024, it will show you one, or let's say if it is 110, that means it is going to show you 10 bytes. If the file size is 1024, it is going to show you as 1 kilobyte. If the file size is 10240, it is going to show, or let's say if it is at least 8192, then it is going to show you as megabyte and so on. So whichever the number it matches, so it will either show you in bytes if the number is so small, or kilobytes if it is more suitable, megabytes if it is more into a bigger number, or it will show you in gigabyte, or it will show you in terabyte or petabyte and so on. That is what the minus h, basically it is performing the calculation on your behalf. That's why we call it human readable format. Are we clear now? The other flags that I also have here is D. That means list directories only. Okay. The other one is minus A. Minus A is all. All means hidden as well as non-hidden. We will talk about that as well. So there are ways that where you can create a file with a hidden or non-hidden. So what do I mean by hidden and non-hidden? So for example, if I use the touch command and I say a.txt, what do you think it will give you? If I type in ls, do you think it will display me that a.txt? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So if I create a file with called a.txt, but you just put the dot in front, what that means is this dot is going to make it hidden. It will hide this file. So now if I type in ls, it will not show me a.txt. But if I type in ls minus a, it will show me both a.txt, which I created earlier, and .a.txt, because this is a hidden. So now I have a hidden and non-hidden file. So if I use the -a, that means all. So let me just give you a example here. So these are my files. So if I type in touch a.txt, if I type ls, I see a.txt. If I say touch.a.txt, if I type ls, that is not available. But if I say -a, it is showing me all the hidden files as well. Look into all the files. We will talk about the rest of the other files which are hidden later on. But here it is a non-hidden file. That's why I was able to see that earlier. And this is a hidden file. Because I use the -a, it is also showing me that.
ls-d, English was one not.
Yeah, you have to give which directory that you want. Okay, so or you can say */ and it will show you all the directories.
So a file have dot before, that's mean it's hidden file?
Yes, if you want to hide any file. So for example, you have a file called important file. So important.log file. So for example, you have a log file which is important. You don't want anyone to see it. So what you can do is you can move this, move important.log to .important.log. Important.log. Now if people do ls, last time when they did ls, they were able to see. Now when they do ls, that file is hidden now. So I just changed my important file by renaming it with the dot in front. Remember, I can rename any file, right? Using the mv command, we are basically moving. You're moving from the same location, wherever that location is. You're saying move this file to this file.
So there is no need to put the
full path.
Yeah.
If it is in the same location, if you want to send it somewhere else where you only know, maybe right now you are in level 3, you want to send it to level 17 here, then you have to provide the path. But if it is the same directory, but you just want to hide it, I will simply use this command.
So this command we can use it to move and rename.
Correct. Basically, you are moving the file, right? But you are calling it as renaming it file.
Can this command work on a directory as well, like that?
Yes, yes. So here, if you have a directory, so you created a directory, mkdir, right? Not the capital M, but the small m. mkdir, my files. I want to remove all this or I want to hide this. Oh, I can say mv my files into .my files.
So
now this is the directory which is just moved. Now if I do ls, I will not see anything.
So all the contents of the directory will also be hidden even if they do not have like dot in front of them?
Correct. So basically you are hiding that object but not the sub-objects. So once you go inside that directory, you will see everything as normal. Just the main directory is hidden now. Any questions from back there? All right, so here. So are we clear with this now? So what are some of the other ones that we can add to this list here? Sorry?
We can just man ls.
Yeah. So the other one that I also have, which is very common. Well, I shouldn't say very common, but it is common when you are trying to display the contents, is -R. That means show me recursively. Okay? List recursively. So list recursively. So for example, I have in my home, I have directory A, and then I have directory B, and then I have directory C. Okay? Now if I just type in ls, it is showing me all these directories. All these directories, it will list me that. But if I type in ls -R, then whatever this directory has, so let's say this directory has S, T, U, and this one has A, B, C, This one has just bunch of files, o.log, s.log, t.log. It will list everything. Why? Because I said list me recursively. I can combine that with the ls minus l. List me with a long list, and then with the timestamp in reverse order. The sizes should be human readable format. Include the hidden files and recursively. So what it is going to do? It is going to list all these files. Even if this one has a file with a.txt, a file has .secret, right? A directory called .secret, and this one has bunch of files. It is going to list everything because why? We have said all and recursively. So these are some of the very basic options that the list command has, ls. And you can combine this with one option or multiple option. For example, if I type in ls minus l minus t minus r minus h in my home directory A, this is valid. And this is also valid, minus l, t, r, h directory A. You can use this or you can use this. But usually we don't want to have multiple hyphen. We just use one option, and it doesn't have to be exactly in this order. You can type in L, H, T, R, or you can type in ls minus R, T, H, L. It doesn't matter, and it will automatically rearrange and then list you what you're looking for. Are we okay? Right? Okay. So I'm going to erase this now. And using this information of what we have just learned, let's see if we can apply this knowledge with what we are seeing in our home directory. So can you use minus R again? Sorry, can you use this command with the capital minus R and see if it is listing you everything recursively? So here, what I'm going to do now is, if I type in ls minus l t r h a capital R, my home, list me with the following options, right? List with the following options, with the following options. If there are many, then you have multiple options. Long list. Long list. Timestamp. Reverse order. Reverse order means it has the timestamp, which is January 1st to January 31st. Okay, if I remove this, then it will be January 31st to January 1st. Size in human readable format. Size in human readable format. Okay. All objects. When I say all objects, hidden or non-hidden. And then recursively. Recursively. Now, if I do this, depending on how many objects that I have, it may go really fast. But if I wanted to pause after one page, can I add 5 more to it? That way, it will pause it. So you are combining multiple commands together. The first command is giving you this. If you hit enter, it is going to go so fast, you may not be able to catch everything. Then you simply add more to it, and then it will pause. So let's try this. ls minus ltr h my home, and if I hit enter, it is giving me all this because I have not used the minus capital R. So I'm going to add the capital R along with the A here. Now it is going so fast. So I'll say, wait a minute, I don't want it to go so fast. I want you to pause. Now I'm seeing everything. Once I'm done with this, I will just use the space bar. That will take me, hey, this directory has these. Now if you look into this, there is a directory called Mozilla, but it is hidden. That's why we are not seeing it. Under that, you have the plugins directory, and then there are many different things. So here, even though the directory, the parent directory is hidden, the other directories are not hidden, so it is not showing, it is basically displaying you all that. Going to the next one, going to the next one, and then finally I'm out. So can you all execute this command and then see what you have? Can I erase this now?
No.
So it looks like Naz has posted this picture, so I can erase this now. If you need to refer, you can look into the group chat. Okay, so let's type ls minus lt or h. Okay, so this is what I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add few more files to this. So I'll say touch b.txt, c.txt, d.txt, a.log, b.log, c.log, d.log, a.doc, b.doc, c.doc, and d.doc, a.xls, b.xls, c.xls, and d dot xls. Now if I type ls, I see all these files, and if I do ls minus ltr, this is what I am seeing. Now, are you all seeing something similar? If you type some files, okay? So, the very first thing is, let's say, if I type this, it is listing me everything. So what I want to do is, I want it to find me only files that ends with the .txt. So here I can type in ls minus ltrh, anything. Remember, if you don't know and you want to filter the data, you can always use the asterisk. So if I type ls minus ltrh, they both are same. If you don't give any arguments here, it is actually saying same thing as show me everything. You all agree? So I'm going to try using the asterisk now and then see what happens. Last time I just used this, and this time I'm using this. Right? Did I use the R there, I think?
No.
No? Okay, so, but it is showing me everything, right? Maybe different format, but it is showing me everything. Okay. So what I will do now is, I will say, show me only the log files. I'm not interested in any other file. So here, same but different format. So here I will say ls minus l. Okay, I don't. Oh, I forgot a couple of other ones. With the ls, there is ll. If you use the double L, and then you also use -1. We will talk about that later. Okay, so if I just use ls minus ltrh, and I will say, show me everything that ends with the .txt. So let's try this. Show me everything that ends with the .txt. If I do that, it is listing me everything, any file that ends with .txt. But this time, what I want is, I will say ls minus ltrh, show me everything with the .txt and with the .log. Let's see what happens if I do this. Show me everything with the .txt and .log. Okay, it is showing me all the text, but there is no formatting in here. It is just showing me whatever it feels like is good. But maybe what I can do now is, I can say ls minus ll, same thing, txt, and then .log. Remember, the focus here is timestamp in reverse order. So whichever file was created first, it is showing me that file, but there is no order. Because here I am saying with the timestamp in reverse order. Here I am saying, no, don't worry about the timestamp. Just show me everything in vertical order. So let's see what happens here. There you go. Now it is showing me alphabetically. Do you see that in here? So it is going like this. So minus LL is actually alphabetical order. If I use a TR, that means I am showing this, it's not in alphabetical order, but it is the timely fashion. Whichever gets created first, it is going to show me that. But if I just say ls minus ltr versus ls minus lt versus minus ls minus ll, what do you see the difference? Here the timestamp is January 1st to January 31st in reverse order. Here the timestamp is January 31st to January 1st. Here the timestamp is no longer available. Here it is alphabetically, it is going all the way from A to Z. Okay? All right. So now what about 1? What does the 1 means in here? So if I try ls minus 1, let's see what happens. ls minus 1. It is showing me everything in alphabetical order, but it is not giving me the lengthy output. But it is in vertical order. So instead of going horizontal. So by default, if you type in ls, it is horizontal, right? If I type ls minus 1, it is vertical. So let's try both of these now. So if I try ls, it is horizontal output. If I try ls minus 1, it is vertical output. Sorry, you have a question?
Yeah, will you just repeat how you add all of these?
How I got this? ls minus 1.
No.
No, how did you add the d dot log d dot
Oh,
dot?
touch.
Oh, remember, this is what we did yesterday. Oh, these files?
Yeah.
So if I type history, these are my commands. Remember, I used the touch command,
Yeah.
and I said I'm just creating some random files for our exercises. So if you want, you can create that as well. I basically created 4. I already had the a.txt, so b.txt, c.txt, d.txt. So 4 files with .txt, then 4 files with .log, and then the 4 files with .doc, and then the 4 files with .xls. Okay, can I erase this now?
Yeah.
All right, so let's clear the screen. L, T, or H. And I'm saying, show me all the files. So if I just do this, it is showing me all these files. But if I want to get only the text files, I can always say ls minus lt or h, any file that ends with .txt. Can I say that? If I have to do multiple searches, RH, any file that ends with .txt or any file that ends with .log. Now if I have ls minus ltrh, any file that starts with a, how do I do that? A asterisk, right? It doesn't, I'm not saying dot, I'm saying my condition is any file that starts with a, right? So any file that has a in it, it can be in the beginning, it can be in the end, or it can be in the center. How can I do that? Star, that means it can begin with anything as long as it has a in it. So let's try this. ls minus lt or h asterisk a dot asterisk. So it is showing me all that a.txt file, b.txt or h, all the files with the name a in it, and pga also has the a in the center, so it picked that one as well. Now if I have any file that has the alphabet O in it, ls minus lt or h, I will say O asterisk. Any file that has lt or h, any file that has O in it, but it has to end with text. I don't care what it begins with, I don't care what it ends with before the extension, but it has to have the O somewhere in the center. If there is any file which matches this, it will display me that. If any file that does not match this, it won't display that. Okay, are we clear with this now? Now, using the same method, can I also use the mv command? So, for example, if I say mv all files that has the .txt, move them to text files. Right? mv any file that has the word log, send them to log files. Any file that ends with .xls, send them to Excel file. If this does not exist, then you have to create that. But I think you have an idea. But if I can use the mv command, can I also use the rm command? Any file that ends with .xls, I want to remove these files. So it will remove all the files with the XLS. So I'm going to try this now. If I do ls minus lt or h, I have these. So if you look into these, I have the XLS files as well, all these XLS files. So here I'm going to say rm star.xls. Now if I try ls minus ltr, all the Excel files are gone. Will be okay? Now using the same method, if I want to remove any file that has the alphabet D in it, okay? So if I start looking into this, remove all files that has D in it. So this one, this one, this one, it has the match a couple of times. This one, it has the match, and this one. So now I should see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 files should be gone now if I do that. So rm asterisk d asterisk. So if I do s, those files are gone. So using that combination, not only I can list, I can also move, I can copy, and I can remove as well. Are we okay so far? Now I need your complete attention here because this is something that we are getting into more details. So when I do the ls minus ltr here, basically I'm saying list me everything along with a long list with the timestamp in reverse order, and then the file size or the object size should be in human readable format. And because I have not given any arguments, I'm saying basically show me everything, regardless if it is file, shortcut, block device, directory. So we don't know what these are, so that's why I'm going to call this as object name. We will call this as object name. So if anyone is still typing or writing anything, I really need your attention here, please. So stop everything, even the remote students, stop everything and focus here. Because what we are doing is we are giving the heading to each of this column. So for example, what is this? What is this? What is this? What does this mean? Right? What does this mean? What is this? And then what is this? Now from the last column, this is an object name. Now object, what type of object it can be? It can be a file. It can be a directory. Okay. It can be a soft link. That means it is a shortcut. It can be a block device, basically a disk which is unformatted. Now, if it is a file, usually the first alphabet is the hyphen. If you start looking into this, the files has the hyphen, right? If it is a directory, the first alphabet is D. If it is a soft link, that means a shortcut, the first alphabet is L. If it is a block device, a unformatted disk like C drive, D drive, E drive that we have, if I just go to Best Buy and get a disk and attach it, it will show me as a block device. And there may be a few others here as well. Okay, let's just worry about these now. So among of these, I'm only interested in these two because right now we only understand how to create a directory and a file. Now the first byte in the list. Now just looking into this, can you identify if what these objects are? Are they file or are they directories? So it looks like the first three are the directories. Do we see D there?
Yes.
From here to here, we see these are hyphen. That means it is a file. Are we clear so far? Okay. So here, can I say this could be type of object? That's what it is giving me. Now, so now I have the subdivision in the first column. This is giving me the type of object. Okay. Now the next one I have, these are called permissions. Now, what do I mean by permissions for these? Well, and then if I even, from our previous talks, even if I say R is read, write, executable, then I have another read, hyphen, executable, read, nothing, executable. What exactly does this mean? Yes? Correct. So now I'm looking into different ones. So my permissions here, if I start looking into this, I will say these are the permissions. Now further dividing these permissions, I have three set of permissions. Okay? So the first one here is the permission to the owner. The second one is the permission to the department that he works in, or he or she. In technical terms, instead of department, we call it group. Which group that person, the owner, is associated with. And this one is everyone else. Everyone else. Everyone who is not the owner, everyone who is not part of the same group the owner is, that means everyone. So here we call it world. Is that clear? So now we have three set of, so read, so RWX, so the first one, I'm looking into the log files. And then I have X, and then I have here. So I am saying that now we are talking about the owner, group, and the world permission. What are the permissions to the rest of the world? What is the permission to the owner? And what is the permission to the group? Now I'm going to further divide this. What exactly is R? R means read. The owner should be able to read this directory called log files. W here, it means owner can write. If I'm the owner, who is the owner? This guy is the owner. What is this? This is the group that is, anybody who is part of this group is going to have the second level of permissions there. The third level is for the rest of the world. So here, read, write, and X, that means owner has, if there is a program in that group, in that directory, owner has the permission to execute. Okay, so this is the permission for the owner. All right, now there is a mathematical formula for this. Anywhere you see read, that means you are giving a number 4 to it. Anywhere you are seeing right, you are giving number 2 to it. Anywhere you are seeing executable, you are giving a number 1 to it. Okay, I'm just going to give you more example later on. But let's just say everywhere you are seeing R, you are basically putting that into a mathematical formula for. Everywhere you are saying W, then you are giving 2. And then everywhere you are saying X, that means executable. Now if you add all of these guys together, you are going to get the number 6 or 7, right? 7 is basically representing that owner or this person, whoever, wherever you are dealing with, that person has the permission 7. Now let's look into the second group now. The second group is this group called students. And then here I have R-X. So R is read, no write here, and then anybody who is part of this group, they can execute. So basically what they're saying is, if John is the owner and Tom is part of the same group where John is, they both are part of the students group. John and the owner can read, owner can write, owner can execute. But if you are part of somebody who is part of the same group, you have the read and you have the write. You cannot change anything there. So now if I start looking into this, I have 4, I have 0, and then I have 1. So the others, what they are doing is they are getting the permission 5. Okay, the group members. Now looking into the third part here. Third part is the world. Rest of the world. Anybody who has access to the server, who has access to the server. Anybody who doesn't have the access, it doesn't matter. They cannot log in. But anybody who is not part of the same group and not the owner, they have read, no permission, and executable. So here I have read, no permission here, and I have executable. No write. So what that means now is I have 4 plus 0 plus 1. So if I add this, I have the 5. So in reality, the directory called locked files has the permission 755. And this is exactly what this number means, 755. Owner has the 7, group has the 5, rest of the world has the 7. Okay? Now, it looks like all the directories, the default permission for all the directories, it looks like they are 755. 755. This is the default directory permission. This is the default directory permission. Now looking into the files, the file has a different way of writing into it. So the file has read, write, executable. That means 4 plus 2 plus 1, which is 7. Then the other members, they have read, no write, no execute. 4 plus 0 plus 0. That means 4. And then read, this is same thing. For 4 plus 0 plus 0, which is 4. So this is the owner, this is the group, and this is the world. So a file which is called pga.txt has the permission. No, actually, I think I made it wrong. This is this is X, and then this is also X. That means I have 1 here, and I have 1 here, and this is 5, and then this is 5. So this pga.txt is actually 755. Now I'm going to look into the a.txt. A.txt, can I say this is 4 plus 2 plus 1, this is 7 or 0. So this is 6, and then 4 plus 0 plus 0, which is 4, and then 4 plus 0 plus 0, which is 4. So this file has the permission 644. Are we clear so far?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's say I want the permission to change. This is very important file for me. A.txt is extremely important file for me. And I want to remove the permission. I want to take the permission to keep the permission read write executable for myself. That means I want 4 plus 2 plus 1 equal to 7. For the rest of the world, I don't want any permission. That means 0 plus 0 plus 0 equal to 0. Is that true?
Yes.
I don't want any permission to my group members. And then I don't want any permission to the rest of the world. Plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 equal to 0. So the current permission that I have is 644. Ideal permission, I want it to have 700. Okay? All right. So I'm going to give it I'm going to clear the screen and I will say ls minus ltr a.txt. This is my current permission. Do you all agree? Then what I want is I want to change the permission to 700. So which file I want to change the permission? A.txt. What is the permission that I want to change it to? 700. And what is the command to change the permission? Change, modify, change or modify. And I execute this command. So let me give it a try. chmod 700 a.txt. And then I verify this command one more time. Look at the permissions now. Can I erase this now? This part here? Do you see the permission is changed now? Right? If I start looking into this, earlier the owner has read-write access only. This time the owner has read, write, and executable. Okay? Earlier, everybody from the group, they would be able to read. Now, nobody can read. Earlier, everyone else should be able to read. Now, no one can read. Then I realized, hey, you know what? My group members, they need to be able to execute. So the ideal permission now is changed. I want to keep this permission to myself. And the user is saying, hey, we should be able to read, but nothing else. And these guys should be this. So what is the new permission now? 4 plus 2 plus 1, 7. 4 plus 0 plus 0, 0. 0 plus 0 plus 0, 0. So the new command is chmod 700 to a.txt. 74, right. 740 to a.txt. So I'm going to try this now. chmod 740 a.txt, and then we do the ls one more time. Do you see the change happen? Yes? Now if you start looking into the changes, earlier it started with this, we changed it to this, and we kept the same for the owner. Earlier we started with this, we said I'm taking all the permission, somebody complained back, you gave the permission back. Earlier you started with this, no permission, no permission. Now they have made one more change. They said no, a.txt is very important. You want to keep read, write, executable to yourself. You want to be able, all the group members, they should be able to read and execute. And the rest of the words who are testing, they cannot read, they cannot write, but they should be able to execute. So the permission now, the future is 4 plus 2 plus 1, which is 7. 4 plus 0 plus 1, which is 5, and then 0 plus 0 plus 1, which is 1. So now the permission is a.txt. So this is the new command that will give me that information. So I'm going to try 751 now. chmod 751 a.txt, and now if you look at this, the permission is changed. Owner has the full permission, group has the read and executable. For the rest of the world, they can just execute for testing purposes. They cannot read, they cannot write into the file. Are we good? So you thought IT doesn't have math, huh? So let's do a small exercise. I want you to create school.txt with the permission 751, or actually to this: read, write, execute, read, read and execute, and then read this. And then I have college.txt. Make sure you are using capital when I'm giving capital here. I want you to change the permission to read, write, hyphen, read, hyphen, hyphen, and then hyphen, hyphen, execute. Okay? And then you have university.txt, which has this permission. And then we want to create file 1.txt with the following permission. I have file 2.txt. I want you to create with the following permission. Okay, so let's see if you can create these 5 files now. So I've given you the permission. I want you to decide how you want to do it. Okay, so now if I can change the permission of a file, I should also be able to change the permission of a directory, correct? Okay, so now I'm going to go look into the directories. So I'm going to clear the screen. And if I type tree from wherever I am, this is what I have in here. So it looks like this is something that we did, blah, 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 and all that. So I want to change the permission of the backup directory because these files have the original ones, right? We want to preserve this. We don't want any accidental deletion. So my backup directory, so maybe what I can do is I can say chmod change permission on this directory to maybe I am going to remove the permission from myself. I'm just going to keep the read-only permission and no permission to anyone else. So even if I try to write into this file, it should throw me the error. And I will say backup. But the problem if I do this is, it is just going to change the permission to 400 this one, and then this one will still have 755. I want this recursively done, so I will use -r. So now everything that this file is changed to 400. So I will just add -r in here. chmod space 400 space minus R space, and then you say backup. And this would be your command. And how can I verify if the permissions are changed? I will type in, first thing is if I'm only looking at the directory level permission, LD for directory. In my home, there is a directory called backup. So here it will show me just a directory called backup permission, and I should be able to see that the permission is now read, no write, nothing to no one else, and this should be my new permission now. And because I'm using the recursive, I want to verify this as well. ls minus lr, for example, recursively, not just the directory, but also all the contents. So I should see read rate, there's no permission to the backup directory. I should also see the same to a.log. I should also see the same permission to a.txt. Because these are the original files, we don't want any accidents to happen, and this is how I'm going to change it. So Windows L chmod 400 minus R, and then in my home I have a directory called backup. Okay, looks like someone else has logged in with my name.
No.
They already changed.
No, I have same.
I have also.
You have the same one?
Me too.
Okay, chmod 400. Okay, I think the permissions are already changed, and it is trying to read it and it cannot read, but I'm going to see. So here ls minus lr, let's take a look at the backup directory here. Do you see the permissions have been, wait a minute. So the backup, maybe, okay, so ls minus ltr here, I have the backup is read only. So basically when you have the directory read only, it is not even allowing you to go inside. But maybe I'm going to switch it temporarily for a minute. I'm going to say chmod 755 or 700 to backup. But my goal is to go inside. So now if I go inside and then if I check the permission, it has reverted. So what just happened?
Wait, it worked for me. I checked before, the backup was like read write execute for everyone, but then I did this command and it worked. It's just saying it's permission denied though.
Okay, so let me reverse this one more time. So we will go back and we are just not able to read it. That's, you're not able to see, but the permissions are changed. That's what we are saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here I make this change, although it is saying this is denied. Let's go inside, or actually,
I don't think it's changing inside. I think it's just
not?
changing the directory, yeah.
but I said recursively, so it should have changed the permission. I am thinking I may have to use the minus R in the beginning here.
Oh,
Okay, so CD to, now if I say ls minus ltr, the backup has just the read directory, and then CD to backup.
yeah, it's not even giving you permission to go into the backup.
Correct. So because we have basically
Yeah.
simply locked it. But if I change my permission, chmod, so it has locked it directly on the top level. So I'm going to see if I can quickly go into the root, because root can see everything.
You work on mine, movie.
Hold on a second. /home/m47 or m48, and then here I see the backup. So if I do ls minus ltr, So it basically locked the permission on the top level directory, and it is saying that no, you cannot even go inside, even though you are the owner.
But you can't even change it back, because then if you try to change it back, it says permission denied.
No, I think you should be able to change the permission. So here, if I say ls minus LTR or ls minus LD backup, this is the current permission, chmod 700 backup. So if I change the permission,
Oh, you're not doing recursively?
no, well, at this time, I just want to get inside, right?
Yeah.
And if I do this, the permissions are still same. So how about if I do this? So I'm going to go back to my directory, and my goal is basically to make this readable, right? Or not readable to anyone else. So how about if I say, so let's revert these permissions back. So chmod minus R 755 to backup. Okay. Now everything. So if I do ls minus LR backup, the permissions and everything has been reverted. So this time, how I'm going to make the changes is minus 400 to what you have inside the backup. So instead of directly on the parent folder, I will do this. Right? Whatever you have inside, so the asterisk here represents the inside contents. So you're not changing the permission on the parent level, but you're saying change everything inside this directory. So if I do this recursively, now if I do ls minus LR backup, there you go. So last time what we were doing was we were just saying, hey, lock the parent directory, so it cannot even go inside to change the permission, because the very first thing it is doing is locking for itself. Now once you lock for itself, you are removing the write permission. So when it goes, as a next step, when it goes inside, it cannot write, it cannot make any changes. So that's why we said either I'm locking the directory and then the contents are saved now, or you go inside and then make the changes to the contents. So I just added the asterisk in here. So I'm saying don't implement the 400 on the backup. Implement the 400, what you see underneath the backup. So my backup still has the 7. So if I do this LD,
75.
my backup has the original permissions, but what is changed is inside what it is changed. Does that make sense?
But now we can change the backup.
Yes, at this point, if you want to change it, if you want to have another extra security measure, because you have changed the contents inside, you can also change the backup too. Are we good? Now, anyone has any doubts before I move on to the next one? It's fairly simple. The permissions are, oh, by the way, we didn't cover all the columns, right? So let's look into that. S minus L. So here, so the first one is the object type. The second one is the permission. I really don't know why they have the dots. I'm pretty sure there is a meaning for it. Now, one is a file. And then if you see 2, that means it is a directory. This is another way of saying it. Okay. Now, sometimes you may see more than 2 or 3, or I think I have also seen 4. If I see a 4, that means it has the subdirectories and subfiles as well. But I can say the same thing in here, but it may not have the enough files to count the number of folders. This is the owner. This column is the owner. This column is the group. And this is the size. Now, because we use -h, it is giving me, oh, I have not used the -h here. Look at the size here. Does that make any sense to you?
No.
Right? But if I change this to -h, I'm going to try this. -LH. and you see the size is more readable now. It's almost, it is saying that this is 16 kilobytes. Now I have obviously the month, the date, and then the time. Now, is this when the file was created, or is this when the object was created, or is this when the object was last modified? Last modified, because this file can be created, this file was probably created maybe 10 years ago. Nobody has modified. So it will give the timestamp of the last time it was modified or created. But if there is one person, they have made any changes, then it will capture the new timestamp. So combined together, here I can say this is the timestamp. And now I have the object. Like I said, object can be a file, a directory, a block device, a soft link, which is the shortcut, and so on. So do we understand how we read this now? Now in your homework, if you see that there is something that we have not covered, by the way, homework is mandatory starting from this week. So try to finish all what we have taught in the class. So even though if you think that you are a little behind, go back home, play the video, do your work as requested, post that on WhatsApp web, and we know that you have done it. And then when you start working on the homework, if you see that there is something that is not familiar to you, just skip it and then move on to the next one. It is because most likely I have not covered it, and I'm going to cover it the following week. Okay? So now just one last thing before we end our today's class is there is something called prompt settings. Okay? So, oops. Right? So any Unix server, so prompt setting is represented by PS, and there are 4 different types of the prompt settings: PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4. I'm not going to talk about 2, 3, and 4. I'm just going to focus on the prompt settings 1. Okay? Now, what exactly is the prompt setting? This is the prompt setting. Even the space in here, anything after the prompt setting is where you get the cursor back. Okay. Now this is represented by PS1. My PS1 is doing some magic where it is producing the user, it is producing the host, and it is producing the present working directory. Okay. All right. So let's take a quick look at it. PS1 is equal to, I don't want all of these junk. Let's say it is covering most of my screen. So here I'm saying the user, and then at, and giving the host name, and then there is a space bar here, and then this is giving me the present working directory, and then it is ending with this, it is beginning with this, and then it has the dollar at the end, and it has the extra space at the end here. So combined all this is what my PS1 is. But I don't like this. What I want is, I want to have a simple dollar sign followed by a space. This is what I like. So what I can do is, I can say PS1 is equal to double quotation here, dollar sign, a space, another double quotation. That's it. So all these extra things that it is showing will get converted just to the dollar prompt. So I'm going to see if I can try this now. So I will say PS1 equal to dollar. I said double quotation, right? So let's try with the double quotation. A dollar followed by a space. There you go. Right? Now, this is giving me the maximum space on the window here. Okay. Look into this. I get the maximum space. So basically all I'm doing is, hey, set the prompt setting 1 to dollar followed by a space, and because I have a space, I'm going to wrap this in double quotation. Or I can also use the single quotation, PS1 equal to single quote dollar, and then that's it. Make sure you put a space in here. Or maybe you like to have your name on it. PS1 equal to, I will type in Mohit dollar. So I will start with here and I will end with this. So now I'm changing my prompt settings to Mohit dollar. So let's try this. PS1 equal to Mohit dollar space. Now I have this. Maybe you are one of those who does not like the dollar value or dollar sign. You may want to have like the greater than sign. So maybe what I can do is, instead of the dollar, I will use the greater than sign. So now my prompt settings change. Instead of the greater than sign, I like to use 2 pipes. Can I try that? There you go. Instead of these 2 pipes, maybe I want to try $2 signs. I can, oh, actually that's not going to work because it is actually bringing the last column or the last number from the memory. So here I'm going to change it back to the dollar sign here, and maybe instead of this, I will just say dollar. So whatever you want to change to, you can change it because with the help of the PS1 settings. Now, the PS1, some of the most famous PS1 settings, if I use PS1 is equal to, if I use the \u, it is going to change to your user's name, user's login. If I use the \u, so let's try this. What do I mean by that? So if I say PS1 equal to \u followed by a dollar and then space. There you go. It has converted to my username. Okay. Now you just need to remember that is \u. Now if you say I want to have the host name \h host name. Okay. If you use the small w, this is the present working directory, last directory only, last directory only. If you use the capital W, present working directory with full directory. Okay. And then there are different variables in here. You have small a, it means something else. Capital A, it means something else. T, timestamp with a different format of timestamp, and so on. There are a bunch of other settings, but usually I think just few are good enough. So let me show you. Instead of this, if I change this to host, there you go. I have just the host name now. Instead of this, I'm going to change this to present working directory only. So now it is showing me that I'm in my home. Instead of this, I'm going to use the capital W. That means show me the full path. So CD to directory A, for example, directory A. ls cd to log files. There you go. See how it is giving you the log file in there, and so on. So there are different ways. Now I'm going to try changing it to what is that? A. What does that A means in here? I don't think it has any meaning. What about capital A? Capital A is actually giving me the time. So what about, can I change this to T? T is actually giving me the full time with capital T. It is giving me the time in a 12-hour format. The small t was giving me the time in the 24-hour format. So similar to that, how many different ways that you can have? So let me check. Okay, so I'm just going to give you I just did a random Google search for the PS1 settings, and it looks like it has all these different flags that you can use with the help of the backslash. So if you look at this, I don't know what the bell character means. Deformat, use this to call the system to respond to the current time. This is the escape, this is host, the full host name. If you have host name florida.moidiit.com, that means it is a full host name. New line, if you want to have a new line, so my display and then go to the new line. For example, this is another interesting one. In majority of the companies, they actually implement something like this. So let me show you.
We can use the man command.
Man ts, if you just try, yeah. So if you try man ts, yeah. So here you have this. No, this is actually, this is for the process. But I'm going to show you which it is going to. So first of all, let me go back to my PS1 equal to $. So I get the best output. What was that I was talking?
N.
Oh, N, yeah. So now here, what I will do is my PS1 settings, I will say PS1, hey, you know what? Start with this, okay? And then end with this. And then put the $, and then end here. So let me see if I can try this. There you go. So my prompt setting is changed to this. But now I'm going to add in here X-Men, right? If I try that, I have this one. So what that means is I can start adding more stuff in here. So here I will type in, hey, at this point, why not use the U to give me the display name? There you go. All right. And then I will say, now username / host name. That means this user and then give by the host name. If I try that, it is giving me that. And then I'm going to add it one more. And I will say, colon, give me the working directory as well. Okay, let's try this. So now it is giving me the working directory. Now it looks a little complicated if I try doing this. So maybe I want to remove this. I will just keep one instead of many. All right, so let's try this. Now this is a little simpler, but maybe I can try changing this from this to this. All right, let's try this now. And this is what it looks like, a similar directory structure, right? I don't want the full path. I only want to have a small path. So maybe I want to change it to capital. So now, don't give me the full path. Just give me the directory that I am in now. But look at how the screen is pretty much taken, right? Especially if I go back in here, and if I say go to this directory, and then inside the log files, let's see what I have, and then maybe I can say create directory A. Oh, by the way, this is one thing that I didn't show you. You can use -p to create a directory, the parent directory. So for example, if I have the home directory has a directory A, inside you want to create a directory B, inside you want to create a directory C. So far what you know is, you change your directory to home, right? And then you say mkdir A, and then you change directory to A, then you say mkdir B, and then you change directory to B, and then you say mkdir to C, and then change directory to C. What if I say, basically you want to create this directory, but before you create this directory, you have to create this directory. Before you create this directory, you have to create this directory. So basically, your goal is the last directory, but the last directory depends upon the parent directory, correct? So I can, instead of going with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 commands, I can simply say mkdir -p, start from home, create A, create B, create C. But our goal is to create C, right? So basically what you are saying is, hey, make directory, create C. However, if the C does not exist, make sure you create the parent directory like this. If the parent directory does not, if this directory's parent directory does not exist, create this one. So what it is going to do is, the end goal is to create this directory, but it is going to loop into this, and it says, okay, is this directory exist? Yes. So now let's create this, and then let's create this. So basically what we did in manual way, you can achieve that by adding the -p. What it is saying, if the parent directory does not exist, create it before you create the child directory. You cannot have a child before the parent, right? That's exactly the concept is. So here I'm going to say -p, directory B, directory C, directory D. So if I go into this directory especially, look at my prompt. Do you think you will like a prompt like this, which is taking up your half of the space, right? So in this case, I can simply add \n here. So if I do this, the \n is the new line. So you run this, and then wherever the -n is, it actually turns into the new line. Do you see the difference now? It is giving you the prompt, but now with the new line, so because I use the -n right before the $, so it is using this as your prompt, but the \n is opening a new line, and then it gives you the $ prompt. So a lot of companies, they like to use something like this, because this is giving you the visibility of where you are, plus it is giving you the complete path back. That is also going to be very helpful.
Does the prompt depend on the user, or it has to be a guideline from the company?
It depends. I mean, no. Everyone has a different way. I always use the $ because I like to keep the full path for myself. But there are folks who like to different ways, you know. It depends. Nobody is going to control you. You are the master of your soul. So here, this is the time. If you use the @ this is the 12-hour AM PM format, 24-hour format without the seconds. I think this is giving the seconds, the current username, current working directory, the last directory, and
it's temporary when we exit from.
yeah, if you exit out, it will remove it. Now, is there a way you can make it more permanent? Yes, of course, there is a way. Okay, so that's it for today. Inshallah, I will see you all next week then.
Any homework?
Yeah, we are going to send you the homework. You will get that in your email.